I am winning on all fronts limitlessly.
I have made tremendous improvement at work through delegating and empowering teams.
We started with the law of intentionality, which specifically makes it clear that growth cannot just happen. You have to be intentional about your growth.
CTO Africa Leadership brings you the Grow Journey, a series of masterclasses based on John C. Maxells' book, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. In this 10-week virtual growth accelerator, you will acquire the skills to thrive and flourish as you evolve into a more impactful and fulfilled individual. You will master the art of personal and professional development as you craft and execute your customized growth plan. Limited seats available. Register now for the next cohort.
Hey there, join the next cohort of CTO Ghana's growth journey.
The next cohort is coming on. Get involved and your life will never be the same.
Hello, and welcome to the Leadership Platform. My name is Samuel Ayim, and I'm excited to be with you. My favorite time of the week is when I get to meet all of you and have my best leaders speaking on topics of interest, to share their knowledge, to share their experiences, to improve our lives. And so this evening, we are talking about leading for social change and impact. What is your life about? What contributions are you making in the world? What impact do you want to leave behind? What legacy are you making? All around us are issues and challenges and problems that are crying out for answers. But who is going to address them? How do you do that? How do you make your life count? And more importantly, how do you identify which areas of our society you can make a contribution? Those are some of the questions that our speaker this evening is going to help us answer. And our speaker this evening is no stranger to this platform. She's been here before and shared amazing thoughts with us. Our speaker is a human resources practitioner with exposure in several sectors of our economy, including finance, NGOs, telecom, media, and shipping. She was recently adjudged the Human Resources Personality of 2020. So you're having the freshest Human Resources Personality on the platform this evening. And she is not just a corporate executive, she's also an entrepreneur, a social entrepreneur, and that is how come we believe that she's the best person to speak on the subject. She's a social entrepreneur who leads two organizations, H4 Factor and Takoa Foundation. These are organizations that support the needy and with used clothes and other resources to make their lives better. She's also a Christian and married with kids, beautiful ones that I'm thinking of how to get into that house. And on that note, It's my pleasure to welcome my friend Yvonne Redu Adiepena. Now, the name
Yeah.
Adiepena, it's not easy to get people like that. It's very scarce to get here. And by grace of God, we have her.
Yeah.
Adiepena, I prefer, I know that's not the first name, but that's what I love the Adiepena. You know,
Yes, yes,
you want
yes,
to share
yes.
with us, something about Adiepena. I just love that name.
Yeah. So it's a name given to me by my dad, and
Good,
it was after some reconciliation issues were done in the family that I led behind the scenes. And after
good.
that, he said, "No, this kind is rare to be found. So instead of
Wow,
Amakiwa, I prefer to call you Adiepena. You are a very
wow,
rare, yes." And
wow.
looking at the
Now,
name,
guys,
I think
when John
it
Maxwell
will.
says leadership is influence, this is the example. I mean, she, as a daughter, is the one leading some reconciliation in the family. So leadership is not about position. You don't have to have a big title
No,
to make
no,
impact.
no,
And
no.
that is one of the qualities our speaker has, and he's going to share with us. So, Adia Pena, without much ado, we just want to leave the stage for you. She's going to share with us for the next 30 to 40 minutes. We can come in with some short breaks, but please note your learnings, ask your questions, and don't go away when she's done, because a lot of the meat is left behind during the questions time. So stay with us as Yvonne takes the stage and shares with us on leading for social change and impact, how to identify areas of society to make contributions. Yvonne, the stage is
Thank
yours.
you very much. So once again, I'm grateful for the opportunity to share, and I'll start with a quotation by Bob Pierce, the founder of World Vision. It's an international NGO. He says, "Let my heart be broken by the things that break the heart of God. Let my heart be broken by the things that break the heart of God." And I'm going to look at what is social impact. When we talk about social impact, what is it? Why is it important? What strategies can we put together to make these changes we are talking about? How do we prioritize the issues? Because there are so many issues out there. And then how to understand these needs and support communities. I visited a community back in the days in the Dambai. It's in the Volta region, Jasikan areas. These days, I think it will fall inside the Oti region. Looking at the level of poverty and deprivation, the question I asked the team I went with is, so is there nobody in this community who is in Accra, who is abroad, who has made it to come back and do something different here? Because that is social impact. When you've been blessed, you should go back and do something. When you've had that burden on your heart, and normally that burden will be there, especially if you are a leader or you've been called. You need to do something about society. You need to cause that change we are looking for. So, social change, we are talking about a situation where, or the process of altering structures, norms, attitudes, behaviors to address pressing issues to achieve positive outcomes. So, a typical example, everybody is complaining about environmental degradation through refuse dumping haphazardly around the city in Accra. This is a pressing issue. What do we do about it to bring the change? And when we talk social impact or social change, people are always thinking of institutions and big organizations or rich philanthropists. But it starts with you, an individual, to cause some of these changes, whether directly or indirectly. So social change is advancing various spheres of our social life through, it could be civil rights, healthcare, environment, education, all those things for sustainability. All it takes is for one person to move to cause this evolution, this change to happen. But I want us to look at a definition from Britannica.com, which really captures what it is. It says that social change refers to the evolution or transformation of societal structures, behaviors, norms, and values over time. It involves alterations in cultural practices. So sometimes we need to make certain changes in our practices. Some people have done it. An example is Her Excellency Kunedu, the former president of Ghana, Jerry John Rawlings's wife, who caused women to be recognized and valued for their contribution to society through the non-aligned movement, the Beijing conference, the 31st December movement, all those things she did to ensure and improve women empowerment and then financial independence. She broke a cultural norm, a cultural practice where women were always relegated to the background. Economic systems where we say that a woman cannot own a land is one of them in Ghana. Political ideologies, and we have our Bediakon saying that I want to be president to change the norm, but I'm not going to have a political party. I'm going to be independent. Technological advancements, all of this within society. Social change can be intentional, where you put together efforts and practices, programs to cause this change to happen. It can also be unintentional, where it just happens, and because it's good, people adopt it and follow it. It's an ongoing process that changes how people interact with each other and their environment, affecting the overall dynamics, of society. You would agree with me that when you look at Ghana, when you look at your community, when you look at Africa 10 years ago and now, things have changed. Some are positive, some are negative. They are all in the society. What we are talking about today is the one that gives the social impact, the positive impact that causes the kind of change that we all strive for in society. Why is social change, important? It is important because it promotes equity and social justice, where because of some inequality, some discrimination, some unfairness you have seen, you push it for it. So now there were this group of NGOs who came together to push the girl child. And if those who remember, we had the famous advert, senior girl child to school, senior girl child to school, to balance that inequality of only boys, more boys from secondary to tertiary and less girls in that space, to push it, to bring the social justice we are looking for. There are also people who are pushing for female genital mutilation, what is called female circumcision, to stop because of the health hazard it brings on women. Recently, a group of guys are also advocating that they've realized, due to the concentration on the girl child, the boy is left behind. Most boys grow up and they are still boys, not men. These have come up because of social change, and this is why it is important, so that there's that equity and social justice. It helps to address and met needs and identify areas that needs to be changed. It also fosters community engagement and empowerment, where we all come together to realize that this thing cannot go on like it used to. This thing must change, that we see a gap between what is now and what should be, and we work on it. We are all empowered to deliver. It's also important because it improves community health and well-being. I've spoken about the female circumcision. These days, you hear people talking about this, the emergence of kidney diseases through drinking of all sorts of bitters and medications. And so people are advocating for that to stop. So we should drink more water, fresh juices, exercising, and all that. The more we do it, the more people stay older to care for their families, because every time a breadwinner dies, a seed of poverty is sown in that family and then the community at large. It also helps us to create a positive social and economic impact, where we change the norms, we change the way we behave, we change financial situations of people due to some of these changes that we bring about. It helps to bring that into society. And it, because of this economic impact, the areas to even invest to bring impact, where we are talking about issues of education, infrastructure, roads, and all that, is because of the kind of social change we want to achieve. It also addresses unmet needs. There are certain things that the government cannot do. There are certain things that the chief cannot do. And we bring ourselves as individuals and as groups to meet these needs. Okay. For example, Takoa Foundation, one of the things we do is to provide sanitary pads to young girls in JHS in the village. Now, this is something government cannot buy. These children cannot also buy it because they are not working. Their parents would also prefer to buy fish or meat for their evening dinner than to use it to buy sanitary pad for these girls. So they use all sort of things in the name of protection. Some don't even go to school during that time of the month. So in order to meet this need, there's a change, a social change that somebody must spearhead through the provision of sanitary pad and the menstrual hygiene education. So social change brings about these things, and that is why it is important that it is tackled. That's why it's important. Now, in bringing this change, you have to engage the community that you want to bring the change to. And you engage the community through organizing inclusive community meetings and workshops. And this is where you should be a good citizen in that community or wherever you are, so that your credibility would bring that leadership. Your credibility would make them want to come together. When you say, let's come together, your credibility will make them listen to what you have to offer, either as an individual or as an organization. You need to bring them together. It's important. You can't do it alone, whether that is where you come from or not. You need to bring them together. And then also establish partnerships with local organizations and leaders. That particular community you want to engage, which organizations are there? And when we say organizations, don't think NGOs, don't think companies. A school is an organization. A church is an organization. A youth group is an organization. The unit committees, they are all organizations. Certain women's groups are there, and you need to partner with them. And then the leaders, the chiefs and elders, the assemblyman, the unit committee chairman. These days we also have vigilantes in charge of certain zones in the communities. You need to partner with them. You can't do it alone. You may not even have the full picture of what is happening, but these people can. When you do that, you foster a culture of openness. You allow them to work with you to get things done. They support you, they buy in, they trust you. And also create a platform for open dialogue and communication, where they can reach out and discuss whatever it is with you. These days, we have the WhatsApp platforms. You can also create short codes, USSDs, for those who use the YAMS, to reach out. You can also do the physical kind of platforms where after every funeral, we all stay for the next 30 minutes to jojo about something. Or before any major funeral, we come together to jojo about this. Or when there's a festival, we come together to discuss some of these issues. This is how you engage with them. Without this, it becomes very difficult. Some people will come and say, I went to my community to do this. They did not appreciate. Yes, because even though it was a need, you did not engage them. You just went as a Father Christmas to give and go. You need to have that collaboration with them to understand their needs so you can address it in a way that brings buy-in, in a way that makes them own it so they can help you drive it. How do you develop these strategies for change? First and foremost, you need to brainstorm and be innovative. It is very, very important that you do the brainstorming. You do the brainstorming because without it, without brainstorming for innovative solutions, you may provide a solution that will not bring the change you are looking for. Let them come together. Sometimes you have to put them into groups, women and men, and even the women, you put the married, the single, the young one, and same for the men. Sometimes you put them in groups, farmers, teachers, depending on how the particular place you are going to deliver your does its things, so that they brainstorm every idea. You put it in the pot, take it, and you can start by asking, what is the major challenge in this community? They share it. This one will say, that one will say, this one will say, that one will say. Then you now try to group them into thematic areas, and based on the themes, you and them select the one that will bring the most impact or highest impact you are looking for, and then now you break it down and do it. You also need to involve stakeholders in the decision making, and we have said this in the previous slide. You cannot do it alone, no matter how much money you are bringing. You cannot, no matter the ideas you have, you can't do it alone. You need to bring them on board. And then after you have brainstormed and understood that when we prioritize all these issues in the community, this is the one that affects us the most. And if we do it, it will give us the most impact. And because you've involved all these people, based on that, you create an action plan. This action plan must have actions that you are going to do, who is doing what, responsibilities, when are we doing what we are doing, what do we need to do it, what is the possible impact we expect to achieve. And then you assign the responsibilities to the various people in the community, allocate responsibilities to them, and of course, the resources required. Now, when it comes to social change, what I would advise is that don't go and take everything. It doesn't bring ownership. It makes them dependent on you every time. So share the responsibilities with them, even the resources. Let them also provide some. So lately you hear in some NGOs, they will say that they will match it. So if you bring 50,000, we would give you 50,000. So the community will raise that 50,000 cedis through the festival thereby, and then whatever entity or individual who is spearheading the change matches it. It is because you want them to own the process and also keep it going even when you are not available. So it's important that you allocate responsibilities and resources effectively. When you don't do this, it becomes the person has brought instead of we have done, and the change is not sustainable. So we'll take a breather here. When we come back, we will look at how to prioritize the issues and other aspects of social change. We'll take a short break here.
Get your early bird ticket for Live to Lead 2024. From now till April 15th, you get 20% off. Register now for either virtual, hybrid, or group tickets. Visit our website www.livetoleadghana.com. Live to Lead 2024. Leading for transformation. Renewed minds change lives. See you there.
I am winning on all fronts limitlessly.
I have made tremendous improvement at work through delegating and empowering teams.
We started with the law of intentionality, which specifically makes it clear that growth cannot just happen. You have to be intentional about your growth.
CTO Africa Leadership brings you the Grow Journey, a series of masterclasses based on John C. Maxells' book, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. In this 10-week virtual growth accelerator, you will acquire the skills to thrive and flourish as you evolve into a more impactful and fulfilled individual. You will master the art of personal and professional development as you craft and execute your customized growth plan. Limited seats available. Register now for the next cohort.
Hey there, join the next cohort of CTL Ghana's growth journey.
The next cohort is coming on. Get involved and your life will never be the same.
All right. Welcome back. So we just finished talking about developing the strategies where you need to look into the community, brainstorm with them, make sure that you involve them in determining what is the pressing issue that is negatively impacting them, and then you create your action plan, allocate resources, and share responsibilities. Now, there's the need to prioritize. When I was talking about the brainstorming, I mentioned that you may find a lot of issues wrong with a community, but you need to prioritize. And so let me give an example of what Takoa Foundation is doing in the Breman Jambra community. When we did the brainstorming, and we noticed that one key issue in the community is that most of the girls were not finishing JHS, mostly due to pregnancy. And then also quite a number of them don't go to school during that time of the month. And you know the ripple effect in future when these girls don't finish school or continue their education. And so even though other issues were listed, like the environment that is being now, there's environmental degradation happening in the community through excessive sweeping and weeding. And so this year is one of the things we are going to tackle, because we noticed it earlier, but it wasn't a priority at that time, because you are looking at which one will give the most impact to the community. So in prioritizing, you need to evaluate the urgency and impact of the issues you've identified. So all the issues you've listed, now you ask them, this one and this one, which is more critical to the community's sustainability and people's livelihood and all that, and help them to arrange. This is where your creativity comes in. You use very creative ways to get them to prioritize the issues so that people's selfishness and self-centeredness do not come in. Sometimes a group of people will prioritize a certain issue they've identified because it will help those in the northern part of the community. Some too want this issue because means that we won't go and fetch water again. But you are looking at the community in totality, the impact of that particular issue on the entire community. That's what you want to consider. And then you also prioritize based on community consensus and feasibility. This is where you look at the bigger picture, um, engaging them to understand that this thing we are doing is not for those in the north, it's not for the old people, it's not for the young people, but for this community and how it will help us. Is it realistic? Is it something we can keep doing? Or when we do, the results will help us or not? The issue must resonate with them. And then we consider the long-term sustainability and scalability of that particular intervention. So this change we've brought, can we sustain it? Okay. And so if, for example, the government says, I'm not going to take off the taxes on sanitary pads, can we still supply these girls the 12 packets of sanitary pads every year as long as the school exists? Can we? If you can't, think another way. Can we continue to provide seedlings for people to plant these trees in the community? Can we ensure the seedlings are well groomed so they don't die even in the dry season? Can we expand it to other communities surrounding this particular community? Those are the things you are looking at, and based on that, you can know whether you should put that particular thing first or not. And then lastly, you are setting clear and achievable goals. So once you've arranged your interventions and you realize that the topmost one is this tree planting that will save the environment in this community, then what is the goal? What do you want to see? And here you are setting a SMART goal: specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and within a certain time frame, so that when the time frame is due, you are checking to see, for example, how many trees were planted, how many trees are still standing, how did it prevent the community's roofs from being ripped off when there was a storm, for example. And you are able to get them to support you. You are able to deliver when you prioritize this issue and picked up the most pressing one to address the need of the community. Remember, we are talking social change for impact. It's not just change for change's sake. You want to have an impact in that particular area, community, vicinity that you are causing this change to happen. It's important also that you understand the needs of the community. How do you understand this need? First of all, you should identify the existing issues in the community. This is where those of us who don't go back to our communities, those who don't visit our communities, those who are staying in a community, but they are staying in a silo, tall walls surrounding you. You go to work, you come home. Nobody knows you, you don't know anybody. It will be difficult for you to know what is happening, the issues affecting the community. And these days it's even more dangerous because, especially in the cities, you have somebody, he has dug his own borehole to provide water, he has solar energy to provide his own light, he visits the private clinic for his medical issues, his children attend private school, he has nothing that depends on the government. And so even the road, he has graded the portion that he will use to enter his house, put coal tar on it, so the other bumpy parts in the community he doesn't use, he does not know it. It becomes difficult to identify it. But even in this situation, if you are able to bring the community members together, or those who would benefit from the change together, they would be able to identify these issues. It's important to identify the issue too, because sometimes what you think is an issue, it's a problem, it's a challenge in the community is not. And let me give a very realistic example I faced back in my World Vision days. So there's a community where children were getting bilharzia because they were bathing in the local stream when they shouldn't bath, and the community people were still drinking the water without boiling. Everything done to stop this was not stopping. Then they decided to engage the children. What can we do for you to people to stop swimming in the water? Because now the parents have seen the bacteria, the lava in the water through my microscope, and they identify that they need to boil the water to sift, to kill those germs, and also sift it before drinking. So that has been solved. But the swimming in the stream and bathing in there was still ongoing, so the bilharzia was still happening. When these children were engaged, what they said was that give us a football and tell our parents that after school we'll play ball till 4 o'clock. They shouldn't pound fufu early, because if they don't, we will go and swim. Provided football for the children, they stop swimming in the water. The Bilharzia cases go down. Problem solved. So in identification, don't assume what you see is a challenge is what is facing them. You need to find out the real why. The real why. So you can conduct surveys, you can identify these issues through interviews and focus group discussions. I also prefer using observations and being with them. Okay. When you are in a community, identify with the community, your neighborhood, identify with them. When you go to your villages, don't go and be the city guy or lady who has come wearing your high heels and your red lipsticks to be difficult for them to open up and to share issues with you. Go, be down to earth, be with them, be at their level. Okay, after all, even if you do it for a whole year, you will not die. They've been in it and they are alive. So these are some of the ways to identify it. And then also research local news and reports. When you hear some of these things through news reports, social media, you can also get what the need is in the community. If you have friends in that area too, you can also get it. Social media trends, discussions can help you understand and identify the need so you can work on properly. Now, before I conclude, I want to share something. Don't look at another person to be the solution to social problems that you will resolve to lead to social change and impact. You can start something from your small corner. It is not about the quantum of the impact. If you change one life, if you change one corner, you are also doing something. There's this story of the starfish where a man was walking on the beach. There were plenty starfishes on the beach, and he kept picking them and throwing them back into the sea. A passerby asked the man, with all these plenty starfishes, you can't do much for them. Then he said, yes, I know. But to this particular one that I've put back in the sea, I've made a difference in its life. And that is what social change and impact is about. If you pick one life to change, if you pick one community to change, if you pick one city to change, the rippling effect for now and in future, you cannot even imagine. You create so much impact that some of the issues we are complaining about now would cease. You can partner another entity that is into it to do the particular change you are looking for in that community. So Takoa Foundation, you can come to us. You can also see the CTL team. They will help you. Some people also donate towards such interventions. You can also do that every month, something small, $1 here, a CD there, to cause the change you are looking for. You can also be part of it. We are talking environmental issues. After drinking that bottle of water, that sachet of water, where did you drop the container? And then you come home and you are crying about the environment. Okay. You can do something as an individual from that small corner you are. It starts with empathy, it starts with caring, it starts with having how do I even refer to that thing? Um that idea, that feeling that I'm also part of this. I contributed to what is happening here. The little I can do is to be part of dealing with it. And then it's also about being innovative. Okay, what can you do in your own small way? It could be recording information that will bring social change, giving it to that guy, that small radio thing in your community who announces the funerals, to play it at 4 p.m. each day on effective nutrition or setting social norms. Okay, as innovative and as simple as that. It's about advocacy. Don't just watch on as things are being done that is destroying human beings, destroying society, destroying the environment. Advocate for change and then measure what you are doing to see the impact it's causing. Most of the time, is the impact that will even bring you people to support you. So, to conclude on our social change and the impact, it requires dedication, it requires empathy and strategic thinking. Don't just go and do things, you will fail. Make sure that change is dealing with a major issue that has been prioritized, not just by you, but by all the stakeholders involved. By identifying areas for change in your community and taking proactive leadership roles, you can make a meaningful difference and inspire others to join you in creating a better future for all. And this is where I say that today is Saturday. You may go out to have fun. Instead of drinking 2 bottles of beer, 2 bottles of malt, drink one. Put the cost of the other one into a social change event to also show your small contribution to impacting society and causing the change you want to see. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope in your own small way you'll cause social change in your small corner that will bring the needed impact we are looking for, that will make us reduce complaining and grumbling about what is not being done, and then sit up, take the mantle as leaders, and cause the change we want to see. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you so very much, Yvonne. And this is really good. Guys, I'm going to share quickly some of my takeaways. You share your takeaways and put your questions down as Adiepena gets ready to come and answer your questions. For me, a few points that I've taken away, and I know you would also take your own. He says that social change starts with you. So it is up to you to start something. Number two, takeaway for me, the social change can be intentional or unintentional. So you can just deliberately choose a particular project and focus on. She has shared with us the importance of social change. One of the things I took on the how is that you cannot do it alone. You have to partner and collaborate. Even in identifying the problem and the solution, you cannot do it alone. If it's a social change, everybody must get involved. A key thing I'm also taking away, if you're going to initiate social change, you have to be a good citizen because credibility is important. You cannot just go around throwing things about or being the one insulting everybody in the society and fighting everybody. And then the next morning you say, guys, let's come together and change. You
It's
cannot be the one when there's funeral and everybody is donating, you don't donate. And then the next morning you are going to say, people, let's contribute so that we can build a park for funerals. It doesn't work like that. Credibility is one of the points that I'm taking away. And he says, don't do everything. You cannot in the first place. And also, you don't want to create dependency. You want the people to own the project. So that is also one of my takeaway. Please share yours as we go along. And he says, you have to be part of the community. Don't live in a silo, build a wall around you, because by the grace of God, you have something, you are rich and you don't care and you know everything. Okay. As somebody has said, people don't care how much you know. In fact, people don't care how much you have until they know how much you can help them. So
Okay.
please be part of society. When that day comes, when you are in trouble and there's fire in that your world and friend's house, and I can tell you a story. One day I was not in my community, and it was a big flood in the community in our house. Our house was flooded. We were on our way to Kumasi. Nobody was in the house. They called us. The boys went right into my house. They broke the windows. They took out all the things, and by the time we came, they cleaned the place for us. And it's also because of the way you live. If you were the one shouting on them and creating all sort of, I say, okay, good, hooray, let the house sink. All right. So I took that away. I took that away. And also don't look at other person, as you said. The last thing I want to share before I come to sharing your own points is that it is not about the quantum of contribution you make. Just start with something small. Something small, even the Coke money that you put in that box or something small that you can start with. Pick something. The fact that you can't change everything doesn't mean you can't change something. So those are some of my, there are plenty of them. If I want to share all my notes, I don't want to share. I'm keeping some to myself. I am here. So I want to listen to you also. So who is on the call now? I see Dennis is here. Dennis Ahe is here. Dennis, you are welcome from Sakumono. Let's hear you. What are your takeaway? What are your questions? I see Ephraim Awusa is here. He says, good evening. Happy to join from Heritage Christian University. I also see Abigail Techi is here. Abigail Achampon Techi is joining from Denu in the Volta region. Thank you and welcome, Abigail. I see Kofi Ahen is here. Kofi Ahen is joining from Takwa. Thank you so very much. I see her ladyship, Cynthia Martinson. I don't know if he's in Obuasi or he's in Nkoko where her court is, but she's here with us. Her ladyship is here with us. Thank you so much. Doris Arthur is here watching from Accra. Thank you. He says, thanks for this platform always. I see Juliet Agbenyo is here. Priscilla Manson is here. Mami Bafo is joining us all the way from Holland. Mami, you are welcome. All right. Uh, all right. Okay. I see Philip Ose, assuming is here. He says, how do I identify credible people to partner with in this social change? And that's the first question I'm seeing here. And so, please go ahead, share your takeaways and share your questions so that we can come. So let's come to my good friend and let's discuss a bit. So let's take the first question that is coming from Philip. You've talked about partnership. We know that is one of the big problems we have in our country. We all put money together. We give it to somebody to hold it. The next time it's the time for the project, the money has disappeared. Okay. So how do I identify credible people that you
Yes.
can partner with, especially when you are not in the community, you are in Accra and you want them to be involved? You send them money, by the time you count, the money is gone
Yeah.
and the project is not done.
It's
So
not
can you
there.
share some? You have a lot of
Yeah.
experience in this area. Yeah.
Yes. One of the key issues with this one is the spreading of money and resources when we go to the community. So you go in this flashy car, you have your mineral water, your food in your park, and then after the meeting, you give them food in a park, 20 cedis each. Whoever wanted to support you now sees it as an opportunity to make money instead of supporting you to bring change. So I'm not saying walk into the community, but don't give them a sense that you have a lot and this is just a little one that I've brought here. In the initial
Okay.
engagements, as much as possible, in the initial engagements, don't spread money. The NGOs support us in this in the communities. So most of them, once they hear you are bringing a social change, they expect monies from you. This is where the new trend of the um, matching of the funds come in. So that's the approach you are going in. Now, from best practice, the one that will be so close to you, trying to help you, introduce you to this, introduce you to that, they are not the people you should work with. They have links, they have all the things, but they will not give you results. They will not. Find someone and don't be in a rush to get a partner. As you keep going to the community, you will find that one person, that quiet person in that corner during meetings that can help you. Some people also make a mistake and think that if the person is a Christian, if it's an elder in a church, that person is a human being first before being Christian. So if their Christianity has not matured to a certain level, the chop chop will come in. They will just spend your money on frivolous things that you don't want to see. Also, no matter who you get, let them understand you want results. You need results. So, for example, you've sent the used clothing for them to deliver. You want pictures. When you get the pictures, some of the people in the pictures, when you go to the community, oh, they gave you this dress. Can you show it to me? If Opana gave the dress to them for a picture and later took it, you will know. Look for the result. Don't just take pictures and videos and be satisfied. And then there's this Akan proverb that the one grinding the groundnut should not wipe their hands on a tree. It means it should lick some. As you give to the people who bring these things for the change, give that person some. Just that it shouldn't be so much for them to think that this is a Father Christmas that has come to work with us. Accountability, asking for it is important. So when you've got that person that you want to help you, you show that person. Remember, we talked about stakeholder engagement. So, Yanum, we are going to start this whole thing of planting trees in the community to reduce the roofs that rips off when it rains and when there's a storm. I need somebody to partner with because I can't talk to all of you at the same time when I go back to my city. I am thinking of Mr. Wusu, and you will see their reaction. No, no. Then you know that Mr. Wusu has cobwebs in his cupboard, and then you careful. Sometimes you can just throw it to them. So who do you think should lead this? And as usual, the self-interest will come in. They will give you about 5 people. You make them stand there. This person go? They will say no. Why? Just 1 or 2 reasons. Then before you say, zoom down to 2. If they are still finding it difficult to choose, don't choose one. Use both of them at every time. Use both of them. And then get a third person who has not been selected, who you'll be giving feedback to and collecting feedback. Because this person will let you know, the last time we came for the meeting, they said this and that and that. Meanwhile, you didn't do that. So if these people are giving you false information, this third person who is not known by the community will give you accurate information. This also means that you need to give them means to communicate. So a simple smartphone, monthly data to care for them. Sometimes when you are going to the community, not for work, just to, if it's your own village, bread, one big bread for them, a sachet of Milo and Nido, and then sugar, you go and give it to them. Oh, I just came for a funeral and I said I'm coming to greet you, so that they get that zeal to keep supporting you. But I have noticed that one of the ways we spoil these people is showing them money that, like, yeah,
Mm,
the aba is there, we've brought it, we have it,
mhm,
come and let's work. They will come and
mm,
join you, but it's because of what they, not the help they can give you. And remember, these are not your employees, they are
mhm,
volunteers. Okay. So you can't also stretch them too much. When you also see that they are
mhm.
not giving you results, nothing prevents you from changing them. The same way you
Yeah.
used to get them, go there to that meeting, they are not giving me the results I need. Yanum, we need a new person. Who should we bring? And sometimes they will give you that national service person who just came to the community, who doesn't have any affiliations with anybody, but is a citizen, an indigent, to
Mhm,
work with.
mhm,
Now, in this credibility too, you should be aware of the social practices and cultural norms of the community. Some communities you can't work with a woman. Don't go and do
mhm,
your gender inclusivity thing there, it will fail. Some community, they don't work with a particular group of people because of the family history. Maybe they were slaves, maybe,
mhm,
I mean, we have. So you also need information in the community.
mhm,
You need it so that you can understand these things. Sometimes there's a group, a family, they own the community. So that one
mhm.
of them must be from that family. You need to pick, or they will not let it, your change be sustainable. So that is how you do it. That's how you do it. And you engage them with the people. Don't only
Mhm,
engage them on the side. Anytime you are there, you make them, you sit down, guys, come and tell us how far is the thing we are doing. What are the issues? What are the
mhm.
challenges? Let them own it, because they are from that place. Yeah, so that's the bit I'll share on the
Yeah.
finding the credible people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Philip, I think you have more than enough. In fact, this has been a full session and it was a very good question you asked because that is one of the big challenges we have in our communities. The good comments are also coming. The Lordship has a big word to describe your presentations. She said the key lessons are indubitable. This big word I won't try to explain because I don't understand. I didn't go to Achimota. All right. And Yakuba Traori from Mali is asking, what is social change initiative proposal? What is a social change
Okay.
initiative proposal? Maybe this is
So
a particular
let's,
concept that you want to, yeah.
yeah, so this it's in two dimensions. The first one is when you've identified something like this and you draft the proposal to philanthropists, agencies, organizations to help you to implement them. But
Mm-hmm,
apart from that, it's the other side is where you are delving into the community to find out what exactly is the need they have, so you can support them as as you should, as you should. So it's not
mm-hmm,
just saying that this is what I've seen, so let's do it. But all the things I mentioned about identifying the need and all that, then you are looking at that to determine how to support them, how to help them, how to deal with the issue. So it's like a plan, a whole project on how to deal with it. But usually we present
mm-hmm,
we know can support us to do it. So let's say
yeah.
I've identified an issue. I cannot do it. I have seen it. I've engaged the community. We've all done the prioritization. We've done the action plan. But the resources for it, we don't have it. And when we talk
Mm-hmm,
resources, please don't think only of money. Sometimes it's somebody to come and do the training. that you need.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have that person.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's
Mm-hmm.
flyers to be designed. Somebody is willing to pay, but you don't have somebody to design it for you. So you are
Mm-hmm.
developing this to share for people to come on board to help you. And this is where sometimes you get consortium. So a group of students from the community come together to deliver that particular social change they are looking for. So that is what I know about the initiative proposals.
Ok. Yacouba, c'est l'explication qui est donnée. Merci beaucoup pour la question. Ok. So we move on. Fosua Asiedu says, good evening, everyone. Madam Yvonne never disappoints. I have learned so much, and we
Oh,
all
thank
can
you, Lucia.
identify with that.
Thank
She
you.
never disappoints. And okay, Philip is happy with your response. He said you've said it all. Thank you so much. And Shirok says very rich lessons. The question is, do you ever use the principle, don't fish for them, but teach them to fish? So that's a question from Shirok Women's Network handle. The expression,
Yeah.
don't fish for them, teach them to fish, or don't give them a fish, teach them to fish. Do you ever use that? How, at what point should we be telling the people, I'm not going to give you fish, I will teach you how to fish?
For
But the
them.
person is a person is hungry,
Yeah.
and
But teach them
you
to
say you
fish.
should go and learn how to fish.
Yeah. Yes. So this is where one of the areas that I would also blame the early NGOs. They were fishing for the communities, giving them the fish to eat instead of teaching them how to fish. It's about sustainability. It's about
Mm-hmm.
succession. It's about ensuring that what we are doing now, if this person who led it is not there, can we continue it? Can we sustain it? Can we do it? Okay. Example of the sanitary parts we are doing and even the scholarship we were given, and then thankfully free SHS has come in. We are investing the money in educational insurance for them so that if um, we need the money for sanitary part at some point where we are not getting, we'll use the money for it. And then we are also sensitizing the community to find other ways to deal with this challenge. One of it is that it's part of womanhood. The girl can't do anything about it. Every month she would go through it. Then we need to help them. What do we do about it? Does it mean we sacrifice fish for one day to get it for our daughters? Because those were the excuses the parents are giving. So the teaching them to fish is very important. One aspect of this is that sometimes those of us who go in to cause this social change don't even know how to fish and want to teach them how to fish. This is where the bringing on board other people comes in. So you have gone to the community and identified that one big issue they are facing is that they are turning their farms into cocoa farms, and it will lead to hunger because they
Mm-hmm.
need to grow food. But because of the economic whatever, everybody is doing cocoa. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have the wisdom in agric, you don't have the expertise, you don't even know how to do mixed farming. My guy or my lady, get that expert from the agric ministry or the extension services office to lead this one. Yes, it will mean paying him something. Yes, it will mean a bane on his neck, but it is better than you going to say it. And sometimes that is why they don't buy in. You are telling them to use washable sanitary pad, meanwhile you are using disposable. You should say you should do what they should do and not just say it. So apart from teaching them, make sure you also know how to fish. Thank you very much, She Rock Women Network, for this one. Okay, so that principle should also be used. So one of the things we've started doing this year is the economic empowerment for the mothers of these girls, so that if you are able to make some more money adding to what you already make, you can buy the pad for your daughter. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
making the girls understand that you should be independent, reliant, so that you can buy your own sanitary pad. In the community, what can you do for yourself as a girl so that you can buy your pad? You can fetch water for people at a fee. You can do what we call atabraku, farm, weed people's farms on Saturdays, and you make some money and use it to buy the sanitary pad. Yes, your palm will pain you a bit, but it is better than going to that boy who will sleep with you and give you 20 cedis. You may get pregnant, you may get HIV, AIDS, and even if you don't get, you are exposing yourself.
I don't know if it's my end, but I see a break in the communication. All right, so I guess Yvonne's link is broken, but she will come back. She will come back quickly. So we would, and the point that she's making is about teaching the people to be sustainable. So that, let me bring her back. She's here. Let's see. I think her network is misbehaving, but she'll be back. So let me take a few more comments as she's coming back. Carissa Foundation says, great nuggets. Great nuggets. We need everyone. Let them own the project. Don't show them too much money. So those are her takeaways there. Regina Ohi, thank you. Madam Yvonne, I'm your student. You do explain things very well. All right, so that's a comment there. Carissa says, great nuggets, great lesson we can apply in our lives. All right, so those are some of the comments, and I'm seeing, I think Yvonne's network is done, but she's given us quite a bit of learnings there. So let's take a short break and see if we can connect with her. Let's take a quick short break and share a few of the things that are going on in CTL. The growth journey is going on the 9th cohort. Please connect and join. And Live to Lead is here, early bird. Let's quickly take a short break and come back.
Get your early bird ticket for Live to Lead 2024. From now till April 15th, you get 20% off. Register now for either virtual, hybrid, or group tickets. Visit our website www.livetoleadghana.com. Live to Lead 2024. Leading for transformation. Renewed minds change lives. See you there.
I am winning on all fronts limitlessly.
I have made tremendous improvement at work through delegating and empowering teams.
We started with the law of intentionality, which specifically makes it clear that growth cannot just happen. You have to be intentional about your growth.
CTL Africa Leadership brings you the Grow Journey, a series of masterclasses based on John C. Maxells' book, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. In this 10-week virtual growth accelerator, you will acquire the skills to thrive and flourish as you evolve into a more impactful and fulfilled individual. You will master the art of personal and professional development as you craft and execute your customized growth plan. Limited seats available. Register now for the next cohort.
Hey there! Join the next cohort of CTL Ghana's growth journey.
The next cohort is coming on. Get involved, and your life will never be the same.
Great. Thank you so very much. I want to thank all of you for staying with us. We'll check in with Yvonne to see if she's on with us. Then she will give us her closing remarks. But let me see if there are any more comments. If there are no more comments, let me just bring Yvonne. I see her here. And let's see if her network will permit her to share her closing remarks. Unfortunately, she's not able to do that. But guys, I'm not seeing any more comments. So in that context, let me close on behalf of Yvonne. We apologize for the network problems that she's experiencing. I think it has been a very, very insightful session. We have to be the difference that we seek. There is so much in our communities. There's so much in our towns and villages. There's so much problems going on in our country, and the government alone cannot do it. So we all have a part. Yvonne is back. Yvonne, we saw that. Was it a doom saw in your place or doom see in your place? I don't know which one.
It's the internet that was dancing.
All right. Good. So yes, before you went, I think you had finished sharing that, but what were you finishing on before you were having a thought?
The principle
Finish
of
it.
the teach them to fish, that you
Exactly.
yourself should also know how to fish. If you don't know it, let somebody who knows teach them, because it becomes a bit difficult when you want them to do something and they can't imagine you in it. So sometimes in the community, when there are funerals, you find me cutting onions here, fetching water there. Sometimes they are shocked. I said, didn't I grow up here? We all fetch water before. We know how to fetch the water. Pounding fufu here and then. These days, the fufu pounding is not even difficult because the machine will do the first stage for you and you do the second stage. But you do most of these things so that they can see you are with them. And it's easy for them to allow you to teach them how to fish. Yeah. So thank you, Shirok, for that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. At this point, we're going to just show up, take your phones and give us a quick feedback. And then after that, Yvonne will come and give us a parting last icing on the cake. So if Joy is ready, and we will share up the QR code, just take the QR code and just type in your comments and tell us how you've benefited from this program, any input. So Joy and Kofi. All right. So on there, you have the QR code. Just scan it. Scan the QR code and give us a feedback. You never know, you may get some gifts as you go ahead to give us your feedback. All right. Good. All right. So do scan. All right. So we hope you are done. Please, if you scan and give us your feedback, that would be great, so that we will know what's going on, what you are thinking. There's also the link there so that you can give us your feedback. You never know, we may give you a surprise for just giving us your feedback. All right. So now we have my favorite friend, Adiepena. I just love the name, Adiepena is here to give us the dessert, the icing on the cake. Adiepena, what are your final thoughts for us?
Yeah, it's very fulfilling to bring about social change. It's usually not the big things. And I remember when we moved to Abukobi early on, and we used to see these teenage girls hanging around in the evenings with boys, and we started the teens club. One woman came to my house one evening. I thought she was coming to blame me or something because then we didn't have light in the neighborhood. So I was a bit afraid. So I called my husband, and then she said, "Oh, madam, can we sit down?" So we sat down. I said, "What is the issue?" So my daughter is so so and so. I just want to tell you, thank you and God bless you. I said, "Wait, what have I done?" He said, "The engagement you give to them used to be Saturdays, just 1 hour every Saturday afternoon. That my daughter has changed. Now she does her homework. Now she's neat. Now she's this. Now she's that." It's fulfilling. Don't look for benefits, payments, rewards. Don't look for it. It will come in different forms to you. And that fulfillment and intrinsic joy, when you see the change happening, it helps. And social change, once again, starts with you. It doesn't have to be anything big. From your small corner, how do you treat the things that are bringing the issues in the community from that place where you are? Sometimes we said it's about behavior as well. Sometimes it's about how you speak. We see young people insulting older politicians on air. It's something bad, but you also do it with your friends on your platform, on social media. So we all need to understand that it starts with us from our small, small corners. If you can't do it directly, partner with somebody to do it. Part with that amount of money every month. CTL is doing this for us free of charge. They are using data, volunteers, they don't pay. You are benefiting so much. Just 50 cedis, 20 cedis a month to them to go a long way. And they can have bigger platforms in the universities, in the tertiary institutions, and bring the change we want in Africa, one life at a time, one community at a time, one country at a time, and it will be beautiful and amazing. So, change, I want you to go with this, starts with me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The change starts with me, and there is an intrinsic joy. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we join me to thank Yvonne Adiepena for this beautiful presentation. We need this more than ever. And I want to thank all of you who have made comments, who have asked questions. Florencia says, insightful as usual. My Aunt Yvonne always doing the most. Yes. And we all want to do
Oh, thank
just
you.
little things here and there so that we can all together build and change our country, our continent, and our world. I want to thank all of you. Have a good night. And as I always say, tomorrow is Sunday for those of us who are Christians. Find a place for God, look for a Bible, believe in church, and worship, and find opportunity to do something different in your community. Thank you. Good night. See you until we come your way next week with another beautiful speaker sharing great lessons. Good night.
Good night, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.